All right, well, what we're going to talk about today is what we did with our users when we were asking them about what they expect on a university's YouTube site, what actions the users took when they were doing this testing, and then our overall recommendations for the UCLA YouTube site based on what we learned.
Well, before we get too much started here, we did have a third person in our group, Whitney Wynn. She couldn't come today, so I just wanted to make sure that she got credit for this too, since she was a valuable part of our team. So what we did was basically the starting points of user-centered design, which it's a fairly, the term explains itself somewhat. It's basically looking at users and examining how they behave just on their own, how they want to find things, and then really starting to craft a site around those tendencies so that A, users can discover things on their own and not get frustrated, and B, the people putting up the content can have what specific content discovered easier by the users. So in order to start user-centered design, you really have to identify a couple of the groups that you really want to target. So we met with Genevieve and we identified a couple of groups that we wanted to target with the UCLA YouTube page. And then after that, we created a series of tasks using UC Berkeley's YouTube page, since theirs is the most well-developed of the university brand channels that are currently out there. So the tasks were very simple. It's basically, we found a video that we thought might be of interest to users, like a campus tour, for example. We found that video ourselves, and then we would ask the users to, our list, we had find this video, or find a video that you think is entertaining. We were very careful not to give the users any sort of direction on how to find the video, because that would be influencing how they discovered the content. We did, in one case, ask them not to search because we had a feeling that most users would prefer to search. So for the last question we asked, we said, don't use search, just find it some other way. So then we grabbed our users, found our users wherever we could that fit inside our groups, and sat down with them one-on-one in front of a computer, sat them down in front of the UC Berkeley YouTube page, and said, okay, pretend you want to find a video on a campus tour. How would you go about doing that? So then we happily did that. And Tommy will discuss what we saw. Yeah,
I'll go through some of the actions that the users were taking on these sites. So for example, we asked them to search for football, find a video about football on the Berkeley YouTube page. We used Berkeley as an example because it was touted as one of the best out there. What happened is immediately users went up to the top search box up here. This is a problem because this is the global search for YouTube. This searches the entire YouTube site, not just the Berkeley channel. It's outside of what Berkeley would want somebody to be searching. And it's not giving users what they would expect if they're searching on a Berkeley page for football about Berkeley. But then alternately, if they actually they scroll down and they find the search box here that will search a Berkeley page, and they type in football, they get 0 results. This is because the sports stuff is located on a separate channel from the main Berkeley page. Obviously this is a problem because you don't want 0 results in a search. You want your users to be able to find what they're looking for. And there's ways to fix that, and we'll talk about in our recommendations. And another noteworthy observation of what users were doing, if they found the page that showed all the videos, they don't really mean anything to these users. We have a great quote from somebody who was playing around and finding this. She said, "This is stupid. They're all numbers. I don't know what any of this means." And a lot of them, they've changed them a little bit, but a lot of them used to be just like a blank screenshot of a slide that doesn't really, it was illegible, you couldn't tell what it was. It wasn't engaging to the users at all. And finally, and significantly, obviously, the users never looked at this featured video. They would either turn off their sound pause the video or just scroll right by it without stopping to watch it ever. And that plays a big role in our recommendations.
This one's in fact a little quieter than the usual video. Usually it's pretty loud, pretty annoying. Users are like.
And especially if they were looking at their work or anything like that, they don't want a site to come up and blare stuff at them.
And it comes back every time you reload this page. Every time you go to a different page and then come back to it, featured video starts up again. So it's like. So we created a wireframe model of what we suggested the site should look like. The first thing you may notice is that, yes, we killed the featured video. As Tommy mentioned, that's due in large part to users becoming frustrated by the featured video always playing when they come to the page. But, I mean, there are ways around that. You could set it to a model where you have to click to start it to play. But even then, I don't think, or we didn't think that many users would find that content engaging, and you have to appeal to every single user to really justify that space, because that's about, if you go back to the YouTube, the UC Berkeley page, that's about a quarter of your screen real estate right there that you're just throwing away on a video that some users are going to watch once, but many users are never going to watch. So it's a big, huge space waster. So that's gone. That has a couple of good side effects. It raises this videos box up here, which raises up that very important search box. If we want the users to find the content that's on this page, we need to get the search box as visible as possible. And because YouTube is it has a very fixed nature, we can't just reorganize the boxes however we want. It has to be, they're in a set order, so the only way to get the videos box higher is to kill featured video and a couple other boxes that aren't incredibly important. It also raises up the branding box so that it's above the fold, or it's on the first thing that users see. So the branding box is another important part of the brand channel. So it encourages users to look at that other special thing that the brand channel gets. It also sets the brand channel page away from, aside from the average user page of YouTube. Anyone on YouTube who uploads videos has a user page, and on that user page is usually a featured video of whatever they think is interesting at the moment. So if an average user looks at the UCLA YouTube page, they're like, okay, it's another user page. I've seen a bajillion of these. This is not that fascinating. Dropping that out and bringing up the videos box so high encourages users to think of this perhaps as a portal site, a way of discovering content that UCLA has put out there. So it sort of sets it apart from the average YouTube site.
And the other thing about making search results more relevant, we wouldn't recommend making multiple channels for different types of content. We would tell you to store all the content under one account. That way, a search in this account will bring up every video that would be relevant to that search, rather than returning 0 results ever.
And there's still ways of categorizing the content using just one channel. The playlists, for example, can be used to store videos of like athletics or that the biology department uploaded, for example. So dropping out that featured video just sort of freed up everything.